Alright, so recently I've been grinding the Infinite Castle in Anime Last Stand, and along the way I've had to use some really old units that are kind of secretly meta, and also just had a lot of crazy things happen. Hope you enjoy the video. If you do, maybe leave a like or subscribe, but anyways, let's get into it. The new Infinity Castle grind. You can see I am number 2. This is where I've been for a while, kind of grinding the Infinite Castle. And it might be kind of a dumb decision, because we do have a new Godly update right around the corner. We have the Godly free run. Make sure if you don't have a copy of the free run unit from the old summer update, maybe trade for one. I don't know, they might re-release it, so... the reason I've been personally committed to go for number 1 on the leaderboard, kind of like a friendly competition, I've been getting DMs from the number 1 spot. And, you know, I'm always down for that, maybe a little bit of competing for number 1. Could be a little fun, right? This grind is pretty brutal, like very, very rough. You definitely want to take advantage of the buffs that we can see per floor, of the nature enemies and the physical damage. You definitely want to have the right team for that, and the high floors are kind of like an inventory check. But just to give you an idea of like what the high end of Infinite Castle looks like, I'll hop into room 233 here and you can look at the HP. Okay, so get a number in your head for what you think the wave 1 of room 233 is going to have for health-wise on the first wave of enemies. It doesn't help that this is on the Oasis map, pretty short map here, so it gets pretty rough if you roll a bad map, but take a look, ready? About 9 billion HP on the Sprinter enemies there for the first wave. Now, I'm not sure how many of you actually keep up with this game and like how much health that really is. That is a lot. That is a lot to try and take out in the first wave. You need to use a lot of strategy for the higher floors. Each of these high floors can take like, I don't even know, 10-15 minutes or something. But I do want to show some gameplay of the high ends of Infinity Castle, what it can kind of look like, and some of the creative strategies that you'll see take place. So here's one of my runs on like floor 230 something, and for this one I tried to use a Gilgamesh team, kind of built around getting his nuke for the boss fight. And for an expensive team that is centered around nuking, you definitely want to have a good early unit, so I ran Maki for this stage because of a physical buff and water enemies. But the whole strat here was kind of rushing Bulma so I could get the buff on Gilgamesh and use his nuke to chip it down. Now another good strategy for the high floors is going to be a raw DPS type of team. So for this one I ran Denji, any unit that can kind of double as like a starter and a boss killer, so I ran Denji here. You want to run it with a bunch of supports and then try and like stall as much as you can. Get as much damage value as you can from one unit and maybe it'll work. You can see here I actually took down a 20 trail boss with Denji on Oasis somehow. Again, the most important part is going to be your supports, definitely. We had Mini Law here to kind of rewind for very cheap. And this experience with Infinite Castle has taught me like, a lot of the old units that we didn't really think were meta anymore are still very good for progressive, like a certain thing in progressive. But with a general idea of Infinite Castle out of the way, I will kind of show you the make or break run for my entire journey in Infinite Castle. For this one, I ran a little bit of a weird team. We have Itadori on a raw damage build, and the only reason I thought it could even work is because of the modifiers, a physical buff, and nature enemies. Toshiro was our main support for the early waves, and I know he's like a pretty old unit, but Blizzard as an effect is just really OP. The stall you get is crazy, and you definitely want to run a Blizzard unit in Infinite Castle, even if it's not Toshiro. Itadori kind of fell short around wave 7, and my idea here was to sell my other units and max out Law. And the timing on this was actually very important, not just so we'd stay alive, but because this is not the only Law ability I ended up using before the boss even spawned in. So we rewind here on wave 7, we can go ahead and sell Law and replace our stuff. We can play pretty defensive and greedy with Yuji because he's pretty cheap to max out. But we do want to have that ability on Law off cooldown before the boss even spawns back in. So it's very important we got that done by wave 7. By the final wave, we're struggling again, and I want to use another Law rewind to keep us alive. So this is why I kind of emphasized the rewind on wave 7 was so important, because we want to use it before the boss spawns in here. So we group up all the enemies before the boss even spawns in, and we get ready to use Yuji's ability once the boss actually appears here, because his Resilient Shrine ability is going to be really good for melting the boss, and we want to make sure we group up everything before then. So we pop it now. This is kind of our main strategy, because Yuji starts hitting for like hundreds of billions for some reason. And if we kind of cycle rewinds enough with a Law, there should be enough to take him down eventually. I can't believe it. I actually killed this floor. No way. we can go for number 1. We might still be in the competition for number 1. Wait. Am I bugged? What's going on? No. No, 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 I actually spend so much time perfecting this strat. Please don't do this. There's no way I afford that nuke. What can I do here? What can I do about that? I can't attack anything. Don't do this, bro. Don't do this, no. Okay, hold on, what if I, like... Maybe Luffy bugged it? I'll sell Luffy. I know Luffy can bug with days pretty bad. What do I do here? I'm gonna try and room. There's nothing for me to room. It would have been on cooldown if there was. I'm fully bugged. I just spent, like, so much time perfecting my strat, and I can't go for number 1 because of a bug. Wow. This is the most tragic thing to ever happen to me ever in ALS history, I think. Can it unbug somehow? Like, if I just sell everything, maybe. Is there any way I can fix this bug? I tried rooming multiple times on Law. I actually just have to watch the timer run out because there's an invisible enemy somewhere that just doesn't exist. Oh my god, I can't do this again. I literally, like, I can't do this again. I can't get number 1 tonight. I actually, like, I don't have the time to try and do this again. I don't have the time to attempt this again. This bug actually just ruined my day. Wow. Well, I think the run is over. I could go, like, back in and just retry the same strat and maybe have it work and maybe keep pushing. Right now, I just can't do it. I don't want to do it after that. Like, that has really been a crushing defeat for me. I was going to try and power through and, like, get number 1 tonight. I put hours into going for it, and when it was finally about to happen, I just got bugged out. That really... I don't know. You know what? Just to make my day a little bit better, let's do something for somebody. Okay, we're just gonna take this real quick. Not for me. I'm buying it because I can buy it. And we're just gonna, you know... I might be having a pretty bad time after that, but if somebody will accept my trade, here we go. Flop a back row. Just take a bundle. Just take a bundle, man. Like, just take a bundle. I don't know. Let's just try and lighten the mood, and... Sure, whatever. I'll take a candy, sure. I'm just giving away a bundle after that. I don't know how else to... Well, I guess I'll be kind of locking back in on, like, normal content for a while. No more Infinity Castle for me. But it gets pretty crazy. It was actually very fun. I had a lot of fun strategizing, even though it was a huge waste of time. And if you're gonna farm Infinity Castle, I'd only recommend going up to, like, floor 50, where the rewards actually kind of matter. I don't know what the full takeaway of this video is. I'm just kind of yapping at this point. Anyways, thank you to my channel members for making this video possible. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you next one. And have a great day.